Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Trackside Talk. This is July 4th edition for all of our folks watching from the U.S. I hope you're having a great day, feeling patriotic, launching some fireworks. Today we will be recapping what happened in the Austrian Grand Prix, and we will be looking ahead to the Silverstone race this weekend, and we will also each be sharing one hot take just in relation to Formula One. So, looking back at the Austrian GP, it was a great race. It really was. The fight that we saw between Lando and Oscar is giving serious flashbacks to Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, just without all the hatred and rivalry. So, honestly, I'm loving what I'm seeing between those two. You can talk a little bit about Esteban. Carlos has admittedly not had the best last couple of races. Yeah, I'm just hoping he can find some sort of fire under him to get him going again. And then the crash between Max and Kimi was very interesting because a lot of people are saying, like, if it was George, it would have been a different story, but I'm glad Max was able to move past that.
Yeah, also Kimi, came very quickly to hospitality. He apologized right away, which was good. And, he knew what he did wrong, so that's good. And I wanted to say, Esteban, him and Oliver Behrman have had a great stretch of races. Like, Esteban has gotten into the points from way far back a few times recently now. And I think that just shows how good, first of all, their car is and how he's a better driver than he was, I think, last year. I think he's made a lot of improvements on last year. And Fernando Alonso has had a great 2 races, 7th and 7th, which is huge for him after having no points the whole season before that. And Kick Sauber has been randomly come onto the scene recently, which is good for them.
Yes, completely agree with that. I think another thing we have to look at is possibly the downfall of Alpine. I mean, obviously, they didn't have the greatest season last year until that race in Sao Paulo where they shocked everybody. But this year it just seems like, I don't know, they've lost their heat. Maybe in your favor it's because they lost Esteban, but who knows. And honestly, I think Pierre has the talent, and Franco also has the talent, but we'll just have to see what comes of those group of people. Yes. So now we will be, let's just look ahead to the race this weekend. Obviously, the man to look at, Lewis Hamilton. I mean, he's been on the podium every race since 2014. He's been in first a handful of times. 9 times, second only a few, and third only a few. So he's just unbelievably dominant at this track, and honestly, I really hope we can see it again this weekend, just for the fans and for him to regain hope about and just show like what kind of driver he really is. Same with Lando. I would love to see him do well. He said that that's his biggest dream, aside from winning the World Championship, is to win in Silverstone. So I'm actually really excited. It's one of my more favorite tracks. I'm hoping Carlos can have a turnaround, but honestly, we'll see.
Yeah, and I think Silverstone's very fun to watch at. It's the first race I ever watched of F1 live, so that was fun. And I think that, Lando has a good chance of winning this weekend like he wants to. And also, one thing I had to say about Lando and Oscar, they've been very nice and, just good sports towards each other. I think that might change towards the end of the season once everybody, starts getting closer in the race and they're almost done with the season. I think they might get more aggressive, with their overtake attempts and everything. And I think it could get a little bit snippy in the garage because 2 really good drivers with a really good car can't stay friends for forever.
Yeah, I think that's honestly a great take. Yeah, and it just seems like, I think the crash in, I forget exactly, Canada, where Lando ran into the back of Oscar, I think they both showed great sportsmanship, but I'm starting to see maybe a couple strands beginning to break between that couple. I hope it can just stay the same it is so they can continue racing, because they're giving us some great stuff. What you were saying about this being the first race, this was also the first race that I watched live. So, a lot of good memories from this one when Lewis won last year. One of my favorite races I've ever watched. And I'm super excited. So I'm going to go ahead and do my top 10, and then you can do your top 10, and then we can do a hot take each. In the 1 spot, I got Lando Norris. In the 2 spot, I got Oscar Piastri. In the 3, I got Lewis Hamilton. 4, Charles Leclerc. 5, George Russell. 6, Kimi Antonelli. 7, Max Verstappen. 8, Alex Albon. 9, Carlos Sainz. 10, Nico Hulkenberg.
All right, that's a good list, I think. With Sauber, that would be big points for them just to keep on moving and keep their streak going. And also, I would just like to say, I just thought Lewis Hamilton got first in one of the free practices. I think it was first free practice.
It was.
So that would be really cool to see him win that, but I don't know what I think about that. But, okay, so my list is a little bit crazier, but I have Kimi Antonelli getting his first race win. He's been such a good driver this year. He looks amazing. And, I think he's honestly, some races he's looked better than George, even though he's only been in that car for half of the season compared to George, three seasons, I think.
Definitely.
So I have Kimi in first, Oscar in second, and Lando in third. Then Lewis in fourth, George Russell in fifth, and Charles Leclerc in sixth, Max in seventh. Then I have... who do I have after Max? I had the list before and I lost it for who I thought. 1 second, let me restart. So, Kimi in first, Oscar in second, Lando in third, Lewis in fourth, Russell in fifth, Charles in sixth. Then I have Max in seventh, Fernando Alonso in eighth, Gabriel Bortello in ninth, and Esteban Ocon in 10th. Sorry, I forgot for a second what I was going to do.
There you go. Honestly, great list. And honestly, I think both of us put Max relatively low. And I think, at least for me, that was just from lack of planning the list. I see a world in which he does really good this weekend because it almost feels like everyone's against him, especially at this race. And I think winning this would be proving to the world that, he just doesn't care about Lewis or Lando winning their home race. So I think he could be trying to make a statement here. But that wraps up our predictions. Now we will be each sharing a hot take. I will start. My hot take is that Gabriel Bortoleto is the best rookie and he will win a world championship.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. We have some disagreement there because I think Kimi's better.
Well, I think Kimi's and Isaac Hadjar are the two other options. I do agree that Kimi's very impressive, but I think we have to understand that he's the only one of the rookies in a high-performing car like that. So it'd be interesting to see other ones in a car like that. But I think Gabriel Bortoleto, what we have to see is he's won the Formula 3 World Championship. He's won the Formula 2 World Championship. He's performed pretty well in his first couple races here. And Sauber they're on the right. We have to remember how awful they were last year. So yeah, I just think he definitely has major potential.
Okay. So my hot take is a little bit, it's more, overall hot take, but I think Max Verstappen's 2024 World Championship was his least impressive because some people say it was his most impressive, because his car wasn't performing for his teammate, no matter who that teammate was. But I think the reason we hear Max's teammates complaining about the car so much is because it's doctored to exactly how Max likes it. So I think that this season, last season, it was impressive that he won, but I don't think it was any more impressive than the other 2 seasons or 3 seasons because they just start changing the car to exactly how he liked it. And even now, as you can see, he can drive it completely fine, but his teammates can't. So I don't think it's as much that he's a great driver, but that the car is, built specifically for him.
I completely agree with that. I think that could also be said, I'm not 100% sure, but similarly for Ferrari, for just how long Charles has been on the team. And it's the same with Max. They both just, like that's been their project for so many years, and they just want to tailor like their car to that driving style to just see if they can have one car win the world championship, because that'd be amazing propaganda for either of those two teams. But it ends up looking worse for the other of the two drivers, which makes it. So I actually think that that's a good hot take. I think, in my opinion, his 2023 season, where he won basically every single race, was probably his most impressive, because although Perez won 2 at the beginning of the season, it was just like pull, win, pull, win, pull, win. So he was just like nothing could shake him, and I thought that that was very impressive.
I completely agree with that.
Very good. Well, that just about wraps up this episode of Trackside Talks. You folks can go enjoy the rest of your 4th of July, but thank you for stopping in to listen to this episode, and we will be back after the Silverstone Grand Prix with hopefully another good race under our belts. Thank you for listening.
Adios.